Okay, so can you guys see the screen, the presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, well, listen, well, thank you for all coming. So let's get right into what the challenge involves. I know some of you are familiar with this. So basically, it's a 10-week program. It's 70 days in duration. It starts next Saturday. That's April 18th, and it runs all the way to Friday, June 26th. And of course, the tangible goal here is to lose 30% of your fat mass.
I joined the thing that Wendy joined. I'm doing the whole like fittest challenge thing. I'm like, at least that gives me something to do, right?
Yeah. Okay, listen, I'm gonna put you guys. I'm gonna mute all of you. Okay. Just give me 1 sec here.
No, you can. Yeah. Martina does it when we do our thing. Yeah. She meets everybody by herself, and so then.
All right, so my apologies. I had to mute you guys. All right, so the goal here, the tangible goal here is to lose 30% of your total fat mass. So this is not your body fat percentage, but this is basically taking, if you can imagine taking all the fat off of your body and putting it on a table, we are going to shoot towards losing 30% of that. Okay, so this is set up over 3 what we call mini goals. So basically you can think of losing 10% every mini goal. So that would happen at weeks 3, 6, and 10. Now this challenge is a little bit, depending on how you want to look at it, front end loaded in terms of some of the workouts aren't quite as hard and the calories are a little bit higher. So you can look at this as, you know, seeing perhaps a little more change as the challenge goes on. This is, of course, under the understanding that you're following everything that I'm telling you to do. All right, so the components of the challenge here. Essentially, there's 3 things that are going to, you know, lead to success in this. So A, it's the workouts. B, nutrition, and C, accountability. Actually, accountability is probably the most important thing here, because ultimately what's going to drive you to succeed is really just choice at the end of the day. And accountability is going to play a huge factor, I think, in you making the right choices. So let's get right to our workouts. So what do the workouts involve? So basically, you're looking at 3 60-minute workouts per week. Now, again, these are different than what we would typically have because we're doing this virtual. So these are going to be online full body workouts. And I'll get more into the details of these workouts in a second. And then you're looking at 3 30-minute cardiovascular sessions per week, which you'll be doing on your own. Okay, so again, 4.5 hours of exercise per week. The nutrition aspect, well, I think a lot of you know, because I know a lot of you have done this challenge before, it's an eat what you want, but there's obviously a caveat with this. So the caveat being that this is, you can look at this as being food group based, you know, without getting too detailed at this point. So you can think portion controlled, and food is structured into these food groups. And I update this to you on a weekly basis. So every week you get an email from me, and it basically outlines different food groupings for you. Okay, so the objective of this is to facilitate recovery, fat loss, and of course, improve energy. And you know, the biggest thing that I'm hoping will come out of this is more of an education and an awareness, okay, in terms of structuring food and being aware of what foods contain what. My slide changing is a bit slow. Okay, there we go. All right, so the third component, how do we keep you accountable? All right, well, there's really a bunch of things here. We've got 4 personal meetings that you do with me. This is in person, and this is when we do your body fat scans. So this is essentially just one-on-one. We do 30 live online group workouts. So that's going to be obviously 3 per week. These are the full body workouts that I mentioned. There's going to be a weekly feedback form that I would expect you to fill out. So it's just an online form. It takes, just a couple minutes to fill out, and you just give me feedback in terms of, some of the struggles, some things that you want to improve upon, and any questions you may have. There's a daily video that comes out from me that I want you to watch every day. There's a challenge email that you receive from us. We have a Slack electronic community group. So Slack is another program or application that you'll put on your smart device, and this just allows us to communicate as a group. It's also where I'll be posting, all the videos, the daily videos. And this is a chance for us to touch base with one another and just share anything that either we're struggling with or things that are helping you. It's also a great place just to put up some recipes that you enjoy. We've got the body analysis scans. So those scans, of course, when you have a goal coming up, that's obviously going to push you to be more accountable. And of course, we've got the daily food accounting. So there's going to be another app that you'll use. I'm going to recommend that you use MyFitnessPal, and this is where you will log your food for the day. Okay, so this is meant to be, as I mentioned in the beginning, this is meant to be lifestyle based. So it's, yes, we obviously have to have a goal here, and it's a pretty big goal. 30% of your fat loss over 10 weeks. That's pretty aggressive. So, obviously we want to make the challenge something that, has this major target as something that's tangible. But what's more important to me here is that, you guys start to build some lifestyle habits, and that you learn that in terms of seeing change, although I will admit that this is going to be a little bit more of an aggressive change, I still want you to see that you can make some good change with your body just being reasonable and consistent. Okay, so we're trying to really preach sustainability here. Obviously, I want you to learn. You're going to find this is going to be very educational. It's highly structured. I think this is going to be really, really important for you guys, especially at this time, because I know a lot of people are, well, I mean, let's face it, maybe you're not working or you're working less. I know a lot of people are working from home, and it's just not quite the same. It's not quite the same routine that you're normally engaged in. And of course, it's goal oriented, right? We've got these mini goals, and we've got this big goal at the end. Now, there's another goal in the challenge, which I haven't highlighted in this, and that was a 5% in muscle gain. I am going to include it in the challenge for fun, but it will not hold any value in the end. And that's just because the workouts have changed a little bit, okay? Now, can you expect to gain some muscle in this? Yes, you can for sure. Okay, so I'm just going to recap what you're offered here, because a lot of people want to know what does this actually include. So it includes 4 body composition scans, a personalized workout. So you actually do get a separate workout in the guide to follow. And I'll show you the guide in a second. You get a nutrition plan. This is updated weekly to you through an email that I send you. You get 30 live classes, but in fact, we're going to open up all the classes to you. Okay, but we're going to ask that, at least as a requisite of this program, that you do 3 classes per week. You get a daily personal video. You get a set of workout bands. You get open access to Martina and myself. You get a Fitin10 paperback quick guide, which again, I'll show you in a second here. And of course, a Fitin10 t-shirt. Now the cost of this, the original cost of this is $6.99. Right now, there's still a 25% discount, so it works out to be $5.24 and change in terms of the cost. But for all of our regular class members, so these are people that are existing class members or want to be new class members, so long as you are a class member and you're paying your class membership, then we give you the challenge for $99. Now, to stay in the challenge, you have to maintain your class membership, okay? So if you really want to know, well, really what's the difference between the two? In a nutshell, essentially they're going to cost you about the same. But basically what I wanted to do was to open this up to all of our class members, people that are still paying for classes, and you know, I want to get them into the challenge. So these are just a sample of some of our transformations. There's obviously a lot more. We have them on our Instagram. We have them on our Fitin10 page, that are our website, and of course in the booklet too. So, but these are just some of the people in the past 10 challenges. So you can see some remarkable changes. Some of these people lost more than 30% of their fat mass. And I'm going to open up to questions. So what I'm going to do here quickly is I'm going to unshare my screen so you'll be able to see me, and I will unmute you all, and then we'll just kind of have to hopefully not talk over each other, okay? So maybe just wait till there's a pause, and then, you know, go ahead and ask your question, okay? So I'm just going to stop this here. I'm going to unmute all of you here. You may have to unmute yourself. Like, I don't think, if you guys have this muted yourself, you may have to just, and you probably can't see me yet. Okay, can you see me now?
Yes.
All right. All right, so does anybody have any questions?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
So you can also see there's an option to raise your hand in Zoom.
Oh, is there?
Which I use when I'm teaching. Yeah, so my
Okay.
hand's raised. So it's a way to order questions. So when you said that muscle gain is going to be tracked for fun, but it's not part of the challenge, is that correct? The competition component. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so here's what you can expect. Basically, if you are new, like if you haven't really been doing much and you go in and you start doing some of our full body workouts, you're definitely going to gain some muscle mass. A lot of you will find through this, you know, this is actually an interesting question. I might as well talk about it right now because I suspect this will come up. But people might ask me, well, are we going to get the same results because we're not doing the weights in the gym? Are we going to get the same results as doing these online classes? And actually, the interesting thing is, out of all this, is you will probably actually see better results. The reason is because these workouts are more volume-based. They will burn more calories. So you might ask me, well, then why don't we just always do that? Well, the reason being is because I'm looking at this as more of a long-term thing, and I think that weight training as a long-term measure for fat loss is a better way to go. But of course, we don't have access to that. So we've got these full body workouts. All right. And if you want me to elaborate on that, I can.
Mark, can you?
Yeah, go ahead, Sherry.
Can you tell me what the body scans are? Like, where did those happen? How does that work?
Yeah. So the body scans happen in our facility. So I will be at the facility. There really won't be anybody there. You would come into the office. You would use what we call an in-body machine, which we have. So your hands and your feet are going to be in contact with a surface. And what that machine does is it basically runs a current through your body. And based on different resistances that the current runs through, it makes an estimation on your body fat. So, but I know some people are concerned with what is going to be on their body, given, you know, the whole COVID crisis right now. It's really going to be handles. So your hands, your direct palms will be connected, and the bottoms of your feet. Now, the interesting thing is that even before COVID-19, as part of our preparation for your scan, you have to actually disinfect your hands and feet. So yeah, so if you're worried about that, that's what we're doing, and we've actually always done that.
Can somebody in Indiana do this?
That's a good question. So I'm figuring out how to do that, because obviously we're doing the scans as part of this, right? So I've been thinking about ways to open this up to people outside without having to do scans. So, and I do have some ideas. I mean, could they do it? Could they join this challenge? Yeah, I mean, I suppose they could. They could get a scan done, and then they could submit it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't work, but.
Yeah, they can't do it in Indiana because they're not allowed to leave their houses. So.
Oh, okay, so they can't get the scan. I see. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I have a few ideas about that, but it's not in the works yet. So.
Okay.
Mark, I put a question in the chat. I don't know if you saw it, but I guess I could just say it. I was trying to be subtle, but it didn't really work out.
Okay.
I mean,
So I was just saying that you're saying this is more focused on fat loss, and I know I probably have fat that I could stand to lose, but I also really can't stand to lose a lot of weight because I'm already very slight, and my struggle is to gain more muscle mass, not so much just to lose weight. I lose weight just as a snap of my fingers. I can lose weight. I don't like to hear that, but that's my problem. And so I want to know, can it be tailored to maybe specific goals that you might have? Like I have a goal of gaining more muscle mass than I do of losing fat necessarily, or if I can do both things, that would be obviously ideal.
Well, this is a good question. So, the first thing I would suggest is if you are already lean, that is your body fat percentage is very low, then this challenge would probably not be ideal for you. But if your body fat is still, still reasonable, or if it's in the higher level, so again, we're talking about body fat percentage here, this challenge will still help you because in your case, or in the case of everybody here, the calories that I give you are still going to be very, very reasonable. And I would suspect that a lot of the food groupings that I give you and the amounts that I give you are probably not up to par right now. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know what you're currently doing in terms of your eating strategy. Like I know, Naresh, you're still weight training right now. So, you could still expect to come into this. And so long as we're not sitting at I don't know what your body fat percentage is, or I don't know what it was when you did, because I know you did the challenge a little while ago. But I still think that you could make some really good improvement, unless I'm incorrect about your body fat percentage. I'm not suggesting that you're fat, but but I think the components of the challenge, because the challenge here is obviously a loss in body fat, but we do want to see a muscle mass increase, right? So, I do think that this would be helpful to you.
Okay, thanks. That answered my question.
Mark, can I ask 2 questions?
Of course.
So the first question is, you had mentioned that weekly you're going to get, different macros for us.
Yes.
How far in advance of the upcoming week will we have those? I'm just thinking about, going to the grocery store once a week and planning that out ahead.
Yeah, so this is a really good question. So you can think of it this way. In terms of so just to answer your question right off the bat, you're going to get your macros, say, on a Sunday night, okay? And then you start them on a Monday. So you say, well, how do I prepare for that? The macros are not going to change that much. Okay. So basically what you can expect is whatever you were following, let's say, through the week, like let's say you are more of a creature of habit, you're following, you've got these meals set out for the week. Let's say you've got, I don't know, let's say a toolbox of say 15 meals that you had during that first week. And then the second week, your macros come in with a change. It's not like you're going to have to completely redo those meals. It would really just be a subtle change. So that would require you to maybe make a small adjustment to one of those meals. One of those meals throughout each day. Does that make sense?
It does. I was just thinking more about, timing to prep the food and weigh it, right, and get it set. And I just know myself that I like to be doing it the day before and putting it into place. And to be able to plan out with at least a few days ahead.
Yeah, I mean, to give you an idea here, that the changes in your macros will not necessarily change week to week, but there will be a change. There's going to be at least 5 changes throughout the challenge. And that's going to involve anywhere from 2 to 4% of a calorie change. So overall, it's a very, very, small change.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And the second question was
Sure.
about the workouts. You had mentioned that there's some classes just for Fitin10, and then you can do all of the online ones. Are the times staying the same? Are we going to be looking at different times?
So there actually won't be any specific Fitin10 classes. They're just going to be our regular full body classes. Now, if we need to put out more classes just based on time or whatever, then we'll definitely, obviously, we'd consider that for sure. Yeah, but there is a workout in the manual that you can do. We are going to put up videos on this on how to do these, and these would involve some of the resistance bands that we're going to give you. So you could implement those if you want to do the workouts that we have in the manual. But my suggestion is for this challenge, especially if you're new, is to do our online full body live workouts.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Mark.
Sherry, you have questions, sir?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mark, it's
Yes.
Colleen.
Hey. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, when do you plan on doing the weigh-ins?
So the weigh-ins will start next Saturday. So yeah, so basically what I would do is it would run the same way as every other challenge. You guys will get an email from me. There'll be a link. It'll be an online calendar. There'll be a bunch of, there'll be about 4 or 5 days, depending on the amount of people that we get in this challenge, where I'll set up a block of time. In there, there'll be a bunch of appointments, and you can just pick your appointment and come in and we'll do your scan.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions for me? Anybody? Okay, I'm going to just check my chat here because I have.
So Mark, I'm currently not I'm not doing the monthly workouts.
Yep.
Is it better to sign up again for the monthly, or to just pay this as a lump sum?
So, really what the difference is here is it'll work out to be about the same.
Right.
In terms of, whether you sign up for classes. Well, actually, if you sign up for classes, it's going to cost you a bit more. But really, we still are allowing people to come into the gym right now and use the facility. But we can't have too many people in there at one time. So basically, we're allowing, up to 5 people in the gym at this point in time. And there's really hardly anybody using the gym. We rarely get 5 people in the gym. So what the class membership would allow you to do is to still come in and use the gym if you so wanted to. But if I see that there's too much of a demand, then I'm going to have to set up an online calendar for that. So that's really the difference. So that's what that extra cost would be.
How are you disinfecting for people using the gym?
So every day we have somebody that comes in, and we basically have a diluted bleach solution, and we're running through all the bars, the dumbbells, the mats, the floor, everything. We also have a disinfectant set up for people. So we have like a Lysol disinfectant. So we just ask people that when you're done, whatever you use to disinfect the pieces that you've used. So, but again, I would really encourage somebody like yourself, just because you haven't done the challenge before, I would do the live classes, the online classes.
What does that mean? Sorry.
The online classes that we have, the full body online classes. That's what I would recommend.
Oh, as opposed to coming into the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other thing for me is cardio, because I can't full on run. I can sort of do a little jog, or maybe, I think I'd have to find a hill. Like, I don't know. Like, I've been trying to do that several times a week, but it's not like getting on a bike, a stationary bike. Like, even going for a bike ride is not like getting on a stationary bike.
Yeah, so this could be a little bit challenging towards I'm going to say the end of the challenge, because the cardio numbers that I give you, which is basically your heart rate, those increase over time throughout the challenge. So in the beginning, that wouldn't really be an issue for you. Between walking and power walking, you're probably going to be fine with your heart rate. What you'd have to do in order to get your heart rate up more is I would do something that's going to be more resistance-based cardio. So like you had mentioned, a hill or stairs. So something where, you know, the level of, you know, energy output that you have to give is going to be higher per unit of time, just because you have to exert more energy. You know, so if you're walking up a hill versus say a flat, obviously you're going to have to, you know, exert more, and that's going to require a higher heart rate. So, you know, walking upstairs would be another form of that.
And I assume that that's for at least 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be for 30 minutes.
30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, keep in mind, you guys, you can change your heart rate too. You can do things like, you know, burpees or jumping jacks, basically things where you're using your body to raise your heart rate. It doesn't have to be on like a piece of machinery.
Mm-hmm.
So when I ask for your heart rates to go really high, if you did like burpees, and again, you can adjust the speed of your burpees that you're doing them, that's going to elevate your heart rate quite fast. Any other questions out there for me? Okay, so I've got questions here in the chat. Okay, so hold on, I've got a lot of questions here. Let me just see. Yeah, Wendy, that's true. So, well, we already touched upon that in terms of using the gym. But again, we have to be very careful with people. Anybody who's using the gym, we have to be very careful in terms of the numbers of people that are in there. What is the schedule for the online classes? Right now, we've got classes running every morning at 7 a.m. Sorry, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. And another class that happens Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. We also have a class on Friday morning. Well, now I got to double check on this, what time it is. I believe it's at 9 a.m. If anybody can correct me on that.
I think it's only 7 on Fridays.
Is it still at 7 on Fridays? No, sorry, on Saturday I meant.
Saturday is 8.
Saturday's 8. Okay, and then there's one, oh yeah, that's right, 8 and 3 p.m. So 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Saturday. And then Sunday, it's a 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
10 a.m., correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, you know, if we receive, you know, requests for classes at different times, then we're willing to do that too. So, all right, let me see.
Naresh, it looked like you were going to talk, but you're muted.
Sundays is at noon. At least
Sundays
tomorrow
at noon?
it's showing at
Okay.
Sunday at noon.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Mark, you mentioned something about measuring heart rate. So I assume that we will need some sort of device to measure that. Like
Yeah, so
Apple
I'm going to
Watch or
recommend
something?
that you have a heart rate monitor for this. And you know, you like if you have like a newer Fitbit or sorry, not Fitbit. If you have like a newer Apple Watch, they're pretty accurate in terms of getting like your instantaneous heart rate. But you know, if you have like a chest, like a strap for your chest, like you know the polar heart rate monitors, those are really good as well. But I do know that some of the newer watches, the new Fitbits, the new Apple Watches, they're quite accurate in terms of getting your instantaneous heart rate. If you've got an older version, they're not quite as good. Does that answer your question, Aaron?
Yeah, that's good. Thanks.
Mark, can you go into the gym at any time, or are there certain times that we have to go into the gym?
You can. I mean, honestly, Wendy, if you go there, you'll see it's virtually empty all the time. But again, you know, if there is more of demand, then we're going to have to, you know, we have to put up a calendar for people to come in. So, but right now we have about a total of 6 people throughout an entire day that are actually using the gym. So it's pretty small.
Do we need a key fob to go in, or just?
You will need a key. You'll need a class membership and a fob to go in. Yeah.
Is there any extra equipment that we would need at home, or is it just the bands?
No, they're all meant Yeah, they're meant to be completely, equipmentless, even bandless. But we were giving you bands right now, so if you want to do the workouts that we have in the booklet, you can do that. But we're also offering them too, just to add in some resistance in the full body workouts. Because sometimes Martina will have you use, soup cans or whatever, a backpack or something. Yeah. The famous backpack workout.
Yeah.
So. Any more questions for me here, you guys? Don't be shy, please ask.
Hey Mark, it's Gina.
Yeah.
I'm sorry it's not working. I was just wondering about the structure of the workouts. Previously, we would alternate between arms and legs.
Yeah.
With the workouts, and now with the online classes, it's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I was just curious about recovery time, like how that's different, or if we're working all the muscle groups 3 times a week, is there anything different we do for recovery, or we should expect?
Yeah, so this is a good question. Obviously, your recovery will not be quite as, because you're not lifting as heavy weights. You're not going to require the same amount of recovery. However, that being said, I encourage you to do 3 classes per week, and I'd really like you to spread those out. So you try to do a day on and a day off. Really, when you're doing the classes, something to that effect. Like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, something like that. And so, yeah, even if you're doing some leg work on, a Monday and then you're doing it again on Wednesday, you should be okay. Again, it's more volume based, so we're not taxing the nervous system and the muscular system quite the same as what we were before.
Okay.
But I want to just emphasize to you, so the workouts are a little bit different, but the positive out of this is actually you're going to burn more calories per session than what you typically would. So, I actually expect to see, in terms of the short term, I expect to see better results.
Cool. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Any more questions? Naresh, if you're still there, are you still there?
I am still here.
Yeah. Okay. We can chat about this more in person, right? If you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you. I have other specific questions, but I don't want to pull the group, so I will speak to you specifically. But thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. Any other questions for me? So here's what you can expect. Okay, so if you join the challenge, you're going to get an email from me, obviously, and it's going to include everything that you're going to need for the challenge. So if you do sign up, I would encourage you to sign up as soon as possible, so you don't get this information sort of last minute. And so next week, what we would do is we'd have an online meeting just like this, the first day of the challenge. So this is going to be aside from the scans that you come in for. There would be an online meeting just like this, and then we're going to run through just the components of the challenge in a little more detail. And of course, the biggest hurdle in this is going to be the diet aspect. Not so much that it's complicated, but some of the concepts might be new to you. So we're going to spend a lot of time on that. But I really want to encourage you guys that the challenge in and of itself is easy in terms of I just give you instructions and you just have to follow through with them. But the challenge with people seems to be the adherence to it, right? So I'm going to really encourage you to stick to all the components as closely as possible. It's really when people start to deviate away or they're inconsistent, that is, some days they're doing their diet, some days they're not, it can become quite frustrating, especially because if you get in that kind of routine, in your mind you might feel like you're doing it, but the reality is that you're kind of taking 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, and then so you don't see much change. So consistency is the biggest thing, and I won't speak too much more here, but consistency is really applicable to anything that you're trying to work towards in your life, right? Whatever you're doing, you need to be consistent towards that in order to see a good amount of change at a particular future time. Oh, you know what? I didn't show you guys this. So this is the booklet. So I know some of you have seen this already. So this is our
same as the last one?
What's that?
Is it the same as the last one?
Virtually, I made some small changes, but
Oh.
yeah, it's virtually the same. But you're going to see, like, you have basically, it's not meant to be super long. There are some little bit of recipes in here just to give you an idea of how you can kind of see, food working for you. You can see, this is where we're going to put your mini goals here in your booklet. So all your fat loss goals. There is a section for muscle mass there as well. We've got 2 workouts in here. We have our original workout, which was part of Fitin10. That's in the beginning. We have a non-exhaustive list of food breakdown, and that's towards the back of this. Let me just pull it up here. So this again is just providing you with some breakdown of different foods and basically their components in terms of or not components, sorry, their different kinds of calories that they have. Okay, so this is really, really important, and I would want you to read this as soon as possible when you get it. And you get this, by the way, you'll get this when you come in for your scan. Okay.
Mark, what is the actual start date?
Saturday, April 18th. So 1 week today.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would set up a Zoom meeting for next weekend, exactly the same time, 11 a.m. And I'd run the scans. So just so you guys are aware, you might say, well, what if I don't get my scan done on a Saturday? I get it maybe on a Sunday or Monday, then I'm already 2 days into the challenge. I haven't really started. Well, you haven't started the nutritional component. Yes, that's true, but we don't run your final scans until after the challenge ends anyways. So basically there's actually a week buffer. So what that means is the challenge starts, it goes for 10 weeks, but we don't do the finale for another week later, and we don't do the scans until the challenge ends. So basically you could look at, you're still going to keep going until you have that final scan. If that makes sense. Okay, got a question here. Any chance of moving the 6 p.m. class to either 5 p.m., 7 p.m., or 8 p.m.? Maybe go vote for best time. Okay, so yeah, so I'll talk to Martina about that and see.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
If this Corona thing, by any miracle, gets under control and we get back to a more normal state of being able to come in to the facility for classes for this, would the regular classes be appropriate to do, or I guess we just have to get direction from you at that time as to what to do with the work?
Yeah, so if we went back to regular classes, what I would suggest that you do are 3 lift camps per week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's what you would do, and yeah, and hopefully, hopefully we'll get back to there. Before. Although I not to sound pessimistic though, I just think that it's going to take some time. I don't see that happening. Yeah. So, but if it does, as soon as we can open up the gym and run classes, then it'll happen.
Mark, it's Gina.
Yeah, no problem.
I had a question about some of the cardio targets and numbers and like how we measure cardiovascular health, or like where each person's starting point is, and what's a good number for us. I don't know. I've noticed that like I can run a lot further right now, and I'm just wondering how that's calculated, or if everyone just kind of gets the same cardio numbers.
Yeah, everybody gets the same cardio numbers in the beginning, and obviously it's meant to be a little bit easier from the get-go. But you can kind of look at this as it's just a period of you're doing some activity, you're doing some movement where you're burning extra calories. Now, obviously, if you go harder, you're going to burn more calories. So a lot of people ask me, can I go harder than what you've suggested to do? I would say, yeah, sure. No problem. So, if you want me to give you more specific, like if you say, listen, the numbers you give me in the beginning are too easy, I can adjust those. That's no problem.
Okay. Yeah, I think for
Yeah.
mostly I'm just like running until I'm really, really tired, and but and the numbers are going up, which is really nice. But yeah, haven't been super calculated about it.
Yeah, I usually, like I said, I always start conservative. I start conservative in terms of calories. When I say conservative in terms of calories, I mean calories are higher than you would expect, not lower, so higher. And then, of course, with the cardio, I always start easier for two reasons. Because one, we just want to start with something that will give us, some structure and some sake of ease in getting into this. I don't want to make it too challenging in the beginning. But I know a lot of you, again, are coming from this from a background of, you've been doing classes for a while, or maybe you're already super active, that type of thing. In that case, you can always write to me and I can make some modifications. I mean, everything's spreadsheet based, so it's not hard for me to make changes. Any more questions for me? I'm just going to check my chat room here. I don't think I have any more. Did I
Mark, it's Laura again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Last comment, I promise.
No. I can ask all the questions you want.
Actually not a question. It's just a comment. I know somebody had said, hey, can the evening class at 6 p.m. be looked at 5, 7, or 8? If that's being looked at, if I can ask for it not to be earlier than 6, just because that's the only time slot that we can make it. We can't do the 7 a.m. because I'm afraid we're in a condo, and I'm afraid that the people below us with, the burpees and whatnot are going to not be pleased about that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So are you talking about morning classes or night classes?
Night classes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, one thing that we may consider doing is just either opening up more classes if necessary, or even undulating the classes. So some classes we might do at 6 p.m. at night, some classes we might do 7 p.m. at night. So that would be an option as well. Yeah.
Are all classes just going to be taught by Martina, or do you plan to teach some classes too?
At this point, it'll be just Martina teaching them, but yeah, I may teach some as well. Any other questions for me? Did I miss any questions in the group chat? Can everybody see the group chat? Okay, I think I answered all these questions.
Oh, Mark, when can we expect the calendar invite for the scans to come out, like next Saturday or Friday for the schedule?
No. I'll send out the calendar. I'll send out the calendar by the end of tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and then what I can do is, obviously I can edit the calendar, which means I can open up more spaces if necessary. So, but just FYI, this challenge will most likely be a smaller than normal challenge, obviously just because of the situation. Any other questions for me? Yeah, so guys, I just want to reiterate to you that the importance of this whole thing is that I really hope that when you do this challenge, you'll learn a lot and you'll build some awareness and you'll have a better understanding of how to kind of structure things. There's going to be some things that I recommend that you do, because there's a lot of flexibility with this in terms of the eating component. But I will give you some recommendations on, how I think you should structure things. Not just for fat loss, but also just for, I mean, this may not apply to everybody, but a lot of this can actually have an effect on your mood. And of course, how efficient and effective you are in your day. So there's a lot of things in this challenge I'm hoping will help you to to, carry on throughout this whole thing, especially during this COVID challenge, this COVID crisis, because I know a lot of people have lost a lot of structure, and they're not feeling as motivated at this point in time. So gonna really, I actually think that this should be like the busiest challenge, but I don't think it'll happen.
Hey, Mark, when you say it'll affect our mood, do you mean that in a positive or a negative sense?
I meant in a positive way.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you meant due to lack of sugar or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, looking at brain neurotransmitters and, sugar levels throughout the day. Those are like the two main culprits for affecting your energy and your mood. Anybody else have any questions? The finale will happen on July the 4th. Okay, so that'll be Saturday, July 4th. Hopefully, we'll be able to have the finale in person. So we'll see. So again, that'll be a week, exactly 1 week after the challenge officially ends.
What is the official end date?
26th.
26th of June. Yeah, Saturday, June 26th. No, sorry, Friday, June 26th.
Okay. I'm assuming it's probably not going to happen, but I'm supposed to leave for field work a few days before that. If we have to leave a few days early and the world is open in a way that I doubt it will be,
Yep.
we could come in for our scan early.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think it's unlikely, but
Yeah. I hope we're both wrong.
yeah, that would be great, but I think it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, Laura?
Oh, we're in. We emailed you saying sign us up.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you. All right, any other questions here? Christine?
It's not hands up, it's clapping hands.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's what that hand was?
That's clapping.
Ah, okay. I see there's two hands. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, raising hand is like the little blue one.
I see. Okay, I got you. Okay, if you guys have any more questions after we wrap this up here, just send me the easiest way is just send a message to info@traindomain.com and I can answer it for you. I am giving 25% off. This is for non-class members. I am giving 25% off up until tomorrow. So you have up until tomorrow to get that deal. And then after that, I am going to just raise it to the regular price. You can sign up all the way up until the day of the challenge. I do have people that even come to me like a few days after the challenge and they change their mind. They're like, okay, I'm going to join. And I usually allow that too. But yeah, the sooner that you commit, the better it'll be, because then you will get obviously all the information and you can kind of get rolling. So I'd encourage you, if you're going to do it, sign up as soon as possible. Any more questions? Okay, I will wrap it up there. So anybody who wants to sign up, email me That'll be the easiest way. Just email me, tell me when you want to sign up. If you want to go for the classes, let me know, and I can arrange that as well. Okay. If you want to meet with me in person or have another conversation, I'll be more than happy to meet with you. You know, we can chat or FaceTime, whatever, or in person. I'm totally up for that. Okay, just let me know. Just email info@trainonmain.com, okay?
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, you're welcome, you guys.
Bye.
Okay, thank you all for coming.
Thanks.
Okay, see you guys.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome, Wendy.
Over here, da, da, da. And now he's like, get that thing away from me. See you, Mark.